Great. Discover South Florida Live, coming to you from Podcast Junkie Studios in downtown Boca Raton. It's once again Larry Mastropieri, broker, owner of the Mastropieri Group, alongside myself, John Laws of Discover South Florida. Ben Castro, Columbia's finest, is behind the camera doing all the work in production and making sure this goes as smoothly as possible. So, Larry, we're going to get right into it this evening because I know you are a man who's got a lot to do, going on vacation to Columbia himself beginning tomorrow. So I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm a little salty, jealous, whatever you want to say. That's kind of how I feel. But on a lighter note, let's talk a little bit about West Palm Beach's condo building that gets a $430 million buyout offer from Becco Equities. Now, if you aren't familiar with Becco Equities, here's the story. A joint venture just put nearly $500 million on the table to buy out two aging West Palm Beach condo buildings. Deal's not done yet, but the fight to control this intracoastal stretch is just getting started. Because what's the fun without a little drama? BEKO, Becco Equities. It's a joint venture between Miami-based Immocore Capital and Hong Kong-based asset manager OD Kobo, and they've proposed a $430 million buyout of two waterfront condo buildings in West Palm Beach. The targets are Portofino South, that's 140 units, older building, built back in 1971. And then you have the 39-unit Flagler Yacht Club, which is also old, from 1981. So together, the properties cover about 7 acres across.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, I'm familiar with one of these buildings, but I was like, okay.
Well, we've talked about some of the buildings adjacent, right, to these that have been bought out by our buddy over at why am I blanking on his name?
Who, not
Ross.
Joe? Oh, related Ross. I was going to say, this wasn't the one with Joey Colombo, was it?
I don't think
I'll never forget that name now because that is a cool name.
Yeah, so if we pull up, Ben, we can throw up on the screen the location of where these are so people can get a sense. But this is in that like southwest Palm, east West Palm Beach market. It's right across from Mar-a-Lago.
Oh.
This is the hot spot. So
oh yeah, that is just right by everything we were talking about last week.
So Ross has one he's in the process of buying out that's right next to the bridge. And now they're talking about, or this article is talking about the proposed buyout of these two other buildings. And the numbers are just getting crazy, right? $2.4 million per unit for the buyout, which is wild. That's just...
I guess, and my question is it worth it?
Clearly, they... well, think about it like this. Well, it might be $2.4 million per unit, which is great for the owners of the units, obviously. But remember, they're really buying the dirt. And 7 acres is huge, right?
Yeah.
And so what's interesting here, let's see, there's nearby buyout demand. Fort Partners closed a $100 million deal at Harbor Towers, which is right up the way from there. Related Ross, which we were just talking about, finalizing their buyout at Southbridge, which is, again, right next to the bridge that we just referenced. Coulter also picked up a 38-unit intracoastal property that's $37.6 million. These guys are just redefining what the water frontage is over there.
So is it with the anticipation that they're going to be building high-rises? Because that's the only thing that can justify spending that much money for buyouts? Because, God, that's just crazy.
100%. That's exactly what they're going to be doing. These are the guys we know because we've seen them build everything else, right? Here's some of the inside scoop, though. So the deal we're referencing, this $430 million buyout proposal. They're saying it might not close. This is what you and I talked about maybe a week or two ago. Portofino South has rules that allow just 5% of the owners to block the sale, meaning Becco needs buy-in from at least 135 of the 140 units, right? So that's a lot of people you need to agree to sell, right? So unlike other projects, like the one I think Related Ross did, I think their control margin was like
it was
75%.
A lot less than that, yeah.
So it was 75%, and then they had control, or maybe even less than that. So, some of these are like 65, 75, 80%. And so in this case, this is 95%. You need 95% buy-in from the humans that own these things. in order for everyone to have to sell.
Okay, so that's what I make. That was what I was going to ask. Just coming from the layman who's still trying to always understand how all of this works. So pretending that they have the majority control needed to force the sale, so that means everybody has to sell. Is there any negotiation in price? Is there anything they can do to better their position if they've been, pretend you're somebody living there who didn't want to sell, but now you have to? Is there anything you can do?
I think how it works is they propose a number. Mm-hmm. And then the owners vote.
I see.
And then if the vote doesn't go through, maybe they propose another number, right? Mm-hmm. Or there's the president, as an example, saying, hey, listen, I think we can get this done at this number, right? Or something, some version of that, which is interesting. So, and usually, as we've talked about before, these guys who are buying these buildings or buying the units in these buildings, a lot of times, like the way Related Ross did it, they had bought a bunch of units already. Mm-hmm. So they were a big owner in the building already. It's not like them just coming from the outside and saying, okay, there's 140 owners, sell it to me, right? They went ahead and bought one by one or portfolios of that last one was Colombo, right? That had a bunch of them and sold them to Related Ross so he could gain control, or they can gain control. So that's interesting. But here's the kicker too. The association president, Gregory, has publicly opposed the sale, calling the building a jewel. I almost laughed out loud when I saw that, right? I'm like, dude, come on, bro. I don't know if we could show a picture of this building, but I'm pretty sure in 1971.
Right, it's 50 years young. It is far more beautiful than people give it credit for.
It's a jewel. Bulldoze the freaking thing. Move on, dude. Take your $2-point-something million, right?
It's like people just, and maybe that's just a negotiation tactic. Who knows? I would hope. I mean, God, it's like the principle. I hope that's what's going on.
I don't think so, dude. I think I've been through this enough.
People are crazy.
They're emotionally attached. I mean, he may have owned it for a long time in there. Who knows? He probably loves it. He probably doesn't want to move. He probably likes his location.
It's like, I promise you, for $2.5 million, I'll come up. Yeah, I was going to say, I'll go get my license and help you move.
And so this is the big piece, though. Portofino, and this is why the buyout exists. Portofino faces a $12 million special assessment. Mm-hmm. So, which they say could pressure holdouts, but Becco says it wants to avoid legal battle like the Biscayne 21 case in Miami, which derailed Two Roads Development's plans for years and years and years. So obviously they wanted to clean break here, buy this thing, move on, get to work. But we'll see. So this is TBD on whether this gets done. And here, this is like the pivotal moment. If they spend $12 million on their special assessment, they're probably not selling in the future, right?
Wait, I'm confused. Why doesn't Becco just offer to pick up the cost of that?
Well, it's a $12 million special assessment to fix the building, and so Becco doesn't want to fix the building. Yeah.
I don't know what.
But that's part of the game. It's like, okay, there's a $12 million special assessment. They may own units in there already. They may be voting for the special assessment because it puts pressure on people to sell. But they probably, the state has mandated a lot of this stuff, right? We've talked about this too. There's a reason why this is happening. What's the building that collapsed?
Oh, Surfside.
Surfside building that collapsed. After it collapsed, the state stepped in and said, hey, all these condos, they're like, they don't know what they're doing. They're not doing their maintenance. They're not reserving. They're not watching out for their people. They're all just like kind of turning a blind eye. So we're going to require it. We're going to require you do maintenance. We're going to require you do inspections. We're going to require you reserve. So once that all started happening, a lot of these buildings started to see stuff like this. Oh, all of a sudden, $12 million we got to spend to get to compliance, which that
makes a lot of sense.
Rightfully so, right? And so now they got these. This is why this has become a thing lately. Why we keep talking about this. So.
Oh, and here I was for a moment just thinking it was related. Ross wanted, in his mission for Wall Street South and improving everything within a 20, 30-mile radius. But that makes a whole lot more sense. Okay.
No, it's also that. It's also that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got El Cid and Soso, which is that area that they're developing in. It's historically been a bit of a market where the prices for like a single family home over there have been elevated because frankly I feel like it's priced in. It's priced in that this neighborhood, this area is in transition and only only going to improve. And so you can expect probably with these big redevelopment plans here that we're going to continue to see growth. This is like buying in downtown Delray. It's like a similar vibe, right? It's like you're just on the outskirts of downtown West Palm Beach, and you got all this crazy development likely to happen along the water as these big guys come in here and redevelop. And then there's single family homes adjacent. And so those lots, those single family homes, the values of those properties are likely to increase. I would make a bet if as time goes on here with the execution here, but they're already not cheap. So this isn't like what I'm saying here isn't like this top secret. Like I just gave you the keys. It's like,
because you're like, I would have already made a play for him. Are you
totally? Kidding? It's always been expensive there, just like downtown Delray. Like even historically, downtown Delray was priced higher than surrounding markets. And it's why, because again, it's priced in the expectation that this area is going to improve is already there. So let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah. We could list all these other buildings. I mean, there's so many here, but like it's just unbelievable. Take our word for it. There's a lot going on in that market. So let's talk about developer gets a $98 million construction loan for Ocean One in Boynton Beach. Okay. Let's throw that on the screen where this is. And we can also throw the renderings on. But here's the scoop. A $98 million construction loan just landed for one of Boynton Beach's most anticipated downtown projects. This is huge. I'm pretty excited about this. After years of planning, Ocean One is finally moving along. And this is what we've talked about a lot. This Boynton Beach downtown area. By the way, they're moving dirt. They're doing a lot of stuff over there right now.
Okay.
Because I've been cruising around there with clients recently on for other related properties in the area, and so just driving down that street. So that's where it is. I mean, this is right on the main drag into over to the beach and into the, call it the downtown that's not really existent, right? But the proposed downtown, and they're building just a little west of there too. So there's some vacant land. They got some stuff like kind of right over that way. So that's all been bulldozed, and like there's a bunch of construction over there going on too. And that's the plan. That was the master plan. They have so many proposed projects in that area, and once they hit, it's going to transform the area. But this is great because when they get a construction loan, they start building. Right? That's how it works, right? You get the permits, and then you get the construction loan, and now you got the debt. You got to go build while you have it, right? Mm-hmm. So who is this? Hyperion Development Group secured a $98 million construction loan from Madison Realty Capital to break ground on One Ocean, a mixed-use project at 114222 North Federal Highway in Boynton Beach, downtown district. It's an 8-story development which will deliver 371 rental apartments, over 25,000 square feet of retail space, and a 633-space parking garage. Okay, good, parking.
Yay.
On a 3.71-acre site. So Boynton Beach's Community Redevelopment Agency is backing the project with up to $11.5 million in tax incentives, financing over 14 years. And so it's designed by Miami-based. We've seen this name before. Can never pronounce it.
Architectonica.
Architectonica. I think we got it. Architectonica. Right. Ocean One has been in the works since 2018 and received site plan approval in 2023. So this is why we keep complaining about this.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, Boynton's one of the towns that I feel like we talked about the most in terms of projects. Yeah. Projects being in the pipeline, but never actually coming to fruition or anything like that. But
yeah. Wow. And so this one's on its way. There's like 5 other big ones that need to get done to really make this downtown really a spot. But what I do like about this is 25,000 square feet of retail. So again, to make the downtown interesting, you need some retail on the first floor, right? So you need that to make sense. And so you're going to have restaurants in there, bars in there, whatever. And again, there's going to be plenty of other buildings that have a similar execution, right? The retail first floor, either condos or apartments on the second floor. And this is going to transform downtown downtown Boynton Beach. And again, if we pull up the map, if you want to pull up the map, Ben, again, I can just give you my commentary on this around the surrounding areas. So if you zoom out a tiny bit, okay, and so zoom out a little bit more, Okay, perfect. And go a little west. Like, that's it. Perfect. Okay, this is like the Boynton Beach downtown you are looking at. Right. And so on the north side of Boynton Beach Boulevard, a little rougher. Maybe not as interesting. A little bit further, a little bit more time to go before that becomes like an interesting place to invest. Maybe you invest now, but it's a little rougher. On the south side of Boynton Beach Boulevard, this is where I think, between 95 and Federal Highway, south of Boynton Beach Boulevard, this is where I think you start to see things really change. This is like a single family home neighborhood, plus there's some multifamily there. Yeah, to the east of that, Ben. Right. Yep, there. Yep, all that. It's all right around that the 2B downtown. So again, this stuff isn't that cheap. It's cheaper than Soso and El Cid, that's for sure. This is very different from that. But I think long term you do well here. I personally own a handful of buildings in this neighborhood that we've picked up over the years, and so I think you can do well here. I think long term the Airbnb market, short term rental market could be interesting there. Short term, it's good. It's just not great, and so you got to ride that wave. And so if you're thinking about investment, you can consider there. Again, it's going to be like that 1960s, 70s product, single family homes, concrete block bunkers, right? 3-bed, 2 baths,
right.
Stuff like that. Some duplexes scattered throughout there. So again, I think that's a good little area if you're considering investing.
Right. I was going to say, wouldn't that screams like a prime spot to begin new developments, especially as we've seen with so many of the notable developers kind of running out of real estate and everywhere to the west that they've normally been building, that, hey, this might be the next spot you're going to have to pick.
I think you make a bet in downtown Boynton like that, and you're cool with like holding. I'm going to say some crazy numbers. People are going to be like, what? Like, and you're cool with like that 20-year outlook. If you're just planning to hold forever, like you're gonna do really well there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Don't
get me wrong.
Patient.
5 years, it will be probably great. It'll probably be better. But like 20 years from now, or 10 years from now, or 15 years from now, you're going to be like, wow. You know what I mean? Well, we picked that up for pretty cheap, and this neighborhood's like, pretty sharp. The neighborhood will improve as these projects move along. I like this better than what we just talked about in El Cid, because El Cid's like so expensive from my perspective. There's some. Don't get me wrong. We've sold some houses in El Cid that I'm like, okay, that could. That's not bad, like pricing wise. So again, if you're like this, even if you're like this young buyer, you're like new, you're buying your first single family home. You want to live in a neighborhood and you plan to live there for a long time and you kind of like the area, that this could be a good option. It could be a good option. You kind of just need to tolerate the level of quality that's in the neighborhood for the time being. So that's the question. But I think it's a safe neighborhood. I don't think it's not safe.
Okay.
When you go north of Boynton Beach Boulevard.
Thanks for clarifying, because I was like, man, Larry, that was a very diplomatic way of putting that. I am so impressed.
I'm doing good, right? I'm doing good. Let's talk. Let's see. Is there anything else to talk about on this? I think we've crushed it. I think
right.
That's it.
Okay. So let's go from Boynton Beach and heading back to West Palm. But this time the story isn't about luxury. It's about what happens when the city's biggest developer looks around and decides the market has a gap that nobody else is filling. Interesting. So Related Ross, as if we don't talk about them like every single time, but they make the headlines. And here's another. Related Ross launches mixed income multifamily division with its first project in downtown West Palm Beach.
This guy's all in.
Yeah.
He's all in.
And we are going to take a look at 209 North Sapodilla Avenue. Steve Ross is just doing more and more work. He's
throw up the location on the screen. This is worth kind of like seeing where it's at.
All right. So this is
By the way, the intro here is Related Ross, the most dominant developer in West Palm Beach. I love that. Yeah. So this is a 164-unit complex, which is planned for southwest corner of Sapodilla. So if you zoom in a little bit, we get in the weeds. Okay, so that's like so Sapodilla is on the north side. Okay, wow. This is something I've been speculating on for a long time. Now we got this location where he's looking to build this. So if you move in a little bit more, you could see Banyan, which is the street, like basically to the south of where he's building. So Banyan historically is kind of the division between downtown West Palm Beach and what we call the progressive Northwest area. You can see it on the map there. It says progressive Northwest. I own a fair amount of property here. We've been buying in this neighborhood for a long time, not because we're geniuses, because I think the opposite.
Because you're progressive.
Because we're so progressive. That's it. No, primarily because we made a mistake and we didn't know where we were buying early in the early days. This is like, I don't know, what, 2014 time?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we invested here early on thinking everything was going to be great, but this was frankly, this was a very unsafe neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I know.
And so as you look here, you're seeing that downtown West Palm, with the help of these developers, related Ross, it has pushed into the progressive Northwest district, and this is where that neighborhood, good chance that transitions quite a bit. We don't have I wish I could highlight stuff.
Well,
but
it's pretty close to
Nora.
That was what it was. Nora, just in the northeast of there.
Zoom in a little bit more, Ben. Yep, perfect. Okay, so related Ross bought that whole little corner where the pin is right now, where you see all that dirt. It's been vacant for a long time. It was a utility yard, basically. They had utilities running through it. They have all this other stuff. So they got a Publix they're planning to go up over there, right? We were talking about the Publix last time.
Right.
But that's on the east side. And so you got a lot going on right here, but this spot is what I've been speculating on for a while, and now we know, which is really cool. Now we know they're building a luxury community here, which is a luxury mixed-use community right in that sector. And this is the big move that's going to help change that progressive Northwest neighborhood from less safe to slightly more safe. Because you can see even to the right of it, that big building on 3rd and Sapodilla, a little bit to the west of where your mouse is right there. Yeah, so that was one of the new construction projects that went up. I mean, that was a big game changer. They built that whole thing within the past 5 years. There's another one that's on Banyan and Tamarin. If anybody's local to here, you know the name Tamarin, and Tamarin's not well known for safety and good quality neighborhoods, etc. So this whole little area is, I'm excited about it. One, because I have 30 apartments in there that really? I own. Yeah, this is I said.
No wonder you perked up so much.
Poor decisions in 2015 led to maybe this thing works out. But what we joke about, me and my business partner who own these, if we hold on long enough,
right,
we ride this thing out, it's going to be good one day. And the joke in 2015 was 20 years. It's 20 years because it's so
and about half.
This neighborhood is on the scale of three neighborhoods we were just talking about: El Cid best, Boynton second, Progressive Northwest 20th.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even,
it's 6:00 news headline.
Totally, 100%. Well, I just not to drag this on, but some of the other, we sold a lot of multifamily in that neighborhood as well, and so to other investors that I'm close with that we know very well, and one of them, ex Navy nuke guy, he ended up he calls me one day, he's like, hey, I just partnered with the city of West Palm Beach PD. We got cameras up. We're setting up a sting operation. They're renting his units to set up the sting.
Right.
Crazy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. And to layer that in, I got stories on this. I had a repairman in that community doing work. He was renovating one of the units. It was 9 a.m. He's there. He's been working there for days. He calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, I can't do this anymore for you. I left." He's like, "I just left. I ran out of there." He's like, "Somebody was shooting an AK running up the street." He's like, "I'm done. That's it. I'm out." Right. And so, long story short, he was like, "I'm out." So this is kind of the level of craziness or unsafe experience you get in that neighborhood, and that's why I'm like, if we just hold on a little longer, we'll survive. So that neighborhood is tough, but it's improved quite a bit, and it's improving with this project. So let's talk about this though. This sits on a 1.7 acre site that related Ross Related Ross's affiliate purchased for $7.5 million. This is where we were speculating. We're like, Related Ross owns this, and that was in late 2025. You and I broke that first in 25. The project went before the West Palm Beach Plans and Plats Review Committee for pre-application review on February 26, with construction targeted for summer and completion expected in 2028. Man, they're cooking here. Like if they get to work on this right away, oh my gosh, that's great. The average apartment in West Palm Beach rents for nearly $2,400 a month, pricing out the local workforce that supports the very luxury market Related Ross has built. Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah.
Yep. Palm Beach County defines affordable housing as units reserved for households earning 80% or less of the median home income, right? So,
right.
Which is about 104,000 to 112,000 annually. That's like big numbers,
Yeah,
right?
that's a lot.
That's big numbers. The new division is led by Jordan Burgess, Related Ross's executive vice president of development, who recently hired Jordan Davis, a former affordable housing executive from Miami. So they're staffing up, they're getting after it. They're going to knock this one out as the first project. Maybe they have motivation to get this done and get it moving quickly, so they get one on the board. I'd love that. So, okay, so what's the project proposal here? 7 stories, 164 units, ranging from 1 to 3 bedrooms, averaging about 640 square feet per unit. Not big.
No.
Over 6,000 square feet of interior amenities, including pools, fitness centers, and co-working space. A 3-story parking garage with 188 spaces, good, guaranteeing at least 1 spot per unit. Not that much.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. And again, I just ranted on what that means for homeowners nearby. A lot of the owners nearby are investors. That whole neighborhood is because it's mostly multifamily. So, and so the history there is mostly investors. And but again, I think it's gonna change. I think it's gonna improve, and I think it's gonna be the next area that you're gonna be like, oh wow, you bought that stuff in 2015, and look at it now. It's going to be like that, like downtown Delray vibe, you know?
Wow, man.
That's what I believe. I truly believe that. With Nora to the east,
yeah.
these projects
with Nora,
to the south.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yep. So it's a thing. This is happening. This is good.
All right.
Let's talk about
we got more Related Ross.
He's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Related Ross acquires the Ben.
Yeah,
a 208-room Marriott hotel in downtown West Palm Beach. This guy is buying everything, building everything. He's just doing it all. West Palm Beach, again, West Palm Beach's most dominant developer, just locked down the waterfront hotel that sits at the center of it all. And they're not done. The deal closed on February 26th. Wow, that was like days ago.
Yeah.
Okay. With the purchase price undisclosed, Wheelock Street Capital, which paid $106 million for the property in 2021, was the seller, so they probably sold for more. According to Newmark, the brokerage that arranged the financing, a $172 million acquisition loan was reportedly provided by Tokyo-based Nomura. So $172 million just in debt.
I'm trying to understand why, though. I mean, it's
they bought in 21. They might have done a good deal.
Yeah.
You know, they might have done a good deal. They might have bought it well. They probably did improvements. They increased revenue, and
I mean, it's a beautiful building. Yeah, I mean, it's got, from the pool. You've probably seen social media videos. It's like, right, yeah, that overlooks the Intracoastal and all the boats. It's really nice.
It's nice. It's nice. So, why this acquisition matters? Here's the key points. The Ben opened in 2020. And, well, it's pretty new. I didn't realize
it was that new either.
And includes a full-service restaurant, 7,800 square feet of event space, a rooftop ballroom, and a rooftop pool. Wheelock Street Capital originally bought the hotel in 2021 for $106 million, roughly $511,000 per room. It's quite that still feels like a big number. But again, it's in 21, that was brand new construction, right? Which is wild. And it's still new construction. Palm Beach County's property appraiser currently values it at $80.2 million, which, whatever, that doesn't mean anything, with a taxable value of near $74 million. The $172 million acquisition loan from Norma suggests Related Ross paid well above the county's assessed value. But that, again, that's expected. Assessed values is not something but you can say he probably paid more than $172 million. You usually don't get 100% debt.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's not the case. Maybe he structured something unique, but CBRE arranged the sale, with broker noting that Related's ownership could lead to upgrades in lodging quality and food and beverage offerings. Usually they have some kind of value add play when they do these things, right? They don't just buy it and say, hey, we're just going to keep running it as
I was going to say, the grit was okay. It wasn't that good, but, that's the restaurant in the lobby if you haven't been there.
So how this fits Related Ross's bigger play. Because, why is he buying this thing, right?
Right. That's what I am kind of confused.
Well, he already owns everything else, so why not add this?
Aside the obvious that, because I can.
So City Place Tower, for any of you who don't know what that is, City Place is like that center spot where all the action is. Esperante Corporate Center, Phillips Point, and One Flagler. These are all things that he owns, along with growing residential and mixed-use portfolio in downtown. Adding a flagship hotel gives the firm control over the hospitality layer of what is essentially becoming a company-built urban core. Yeah, I think it makes sense. And again, he's making big bets here. He's making big bets that everything is just going to go wildly up in value because he's controlling this. He's controlling most of this, him and a few other billionaires, right? Palm Beach County recently welcomed a record, we mentioned this, 10.7 million visitors, according to Discover the Palm Beaches. Owning a waterfront hotel in that environment is a strong long-term position. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, and it's not his first hotel he owns, right? This is a part of the portfolio. This is what they do,
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the president of Related Ross, Kenneth Himmel, called the hotel an important asset not only for visitors, but for the broader community and regional economy. So they feel strongly about it. Obviously, they're gonna pump it up when they buy it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Here's the thing. When one developer controls office, residential, retail, and now hospitality in the same downtown corridor, that level of investment tends to anchor property values for the surrounding area. Yeah, he's making a huge bet. And man, he's really.
I will say, I give Ross credit. You talk about putting your money where your mouth is, and that man has done it like no other.
They've made a bet on West Palm Beach, and it feels like it's already working.
Yeah, yeah, but that's but it's almost like doubling down on it.
Let's talk about Florida and how Florida dominates the nation in all-cash home purchases, led by West Palm Beach at number 1.
It's fitting.
That's wild, right?
Yeah.
I guess that kind of makes sense. I know Miami to me was I was
going to say, I remember having this discussion about a year or two ago, and it was Miami that was still right there at the top in terms of all cash purchases. Yeah. But here we are with West Palm Beach now. A new Redfin report covering December 25 shows that while the rest of the country is pulling back on cash deals, Florida's major markets are moving in the opposite direction. As mentioned, West Palm Beach ranked first in the entire country. 47.2% of all home purchases were made in cash. Miami and Jacksonville were tied at 39.3%. Fort Lauderdale right behind at 36%. To give that some perspective, the national average was just 29%.
Which is still huge.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, it says that is the lowest December figure since 2020. So it's gone down a little bit. I'd be interested to know what it was before that.
47%, 50% of all home purchases, half of all home purchases made in cash in West Palm Beach.
What the?
Yeah. Well, I was just giving this speech to a seller right before we came here because we met for a listing appointment, and
I guess because they're all retarees. I'm trying to think. I think when my parents retired here, I think theirs was.
Yeah. So I think the deal here is not. There's just many buyer avatars in this market, right? So, I was just listing them off to him randomly. This guy I was just with. So it's like, okay, wealthy South American, trying to move his cash out of Latin America, has currency risk, wants to park it in USD. Why not buy in West Palm Beach, South Florida, somewhere, right? That feels safe. And Florida kind of tends to be great for that because it's close to Latin America and it feels more comfortable. So you got that, right? You got those guys buying cash. That's what they do. You have people that are doing a 1031 exchange. They may or may not be buying cash, but they have pressure to get something done. So it might be a cash transaction. Mm-hmm. You also have buyers that are technically not buying cash, but are buying cash because what are they doing when you have wealthy buyers? They borrow against their portfolio, their stock portfolio or other assets they own, and they buy the thing with cash, but it really was a loan from or against assets they already have.
Okay.
Right? So if you own, if you have $5 million in a stock portfolio, the stockbroker will allow you to borrow against that.
Mm-hmm.
So you could buy, $1 million property.
Right.
And then maybe you go refinance it with standard debt later. So you got that, right? And then again, you just have wealthy boomers retiring or moving to South Florida, and they've sold their $3 million house in New Jersey or New York or wherever, where it's just like relatively expensive. They've owned it forever. They got a lot of cash out of that thing, and they want to retire and or move down here and have no debt hanging over their head. Boom. So you just kind of go down this list of like all these different things and all these different buyers that are running around South Florida. And you're just like, wow, okay, I can start to see how that makes sense. Like you can kind of triangulate to this number. I didn't think it was 47%. This is just in December, right?
Yes.
So there's other reports we've heard. Blended is like 20%, or 30%. So again, this is a big number though for December, and just huge. Let's see why Florida's cash culture isn't going anywhere. West Palm Beach's #1 ranking is tied directly to its transformation into a financial hub. Okay, here you go. Over 300 hedge funds and financial firms are now based in Palm Beach County. 300 hedge funds and financial firms.
I didn't host that.
Right?
That's amazing.
And the county has seen a 112% increase in millionaire growth over the last decade, the fastest in the nation. This is expected. One of the things I see a lot too is like the new construction communities in West Palm or Palm Beach County. Like when you think about Avenir, you got these buyers that have $1 million. They can buy their house, this new house, because they did whatever they did to get that $1 million, and now they have no debt. So you're going to layer in, okay, there's the cash. And we see that a lot in the new construction stuff, just like, here you go. You know what I mean? Here's the cash. We're ready to go. And it's usually, a 50, 60-year-old person who's had a career,
right?
Done his thing or her thing, right? And then here we go. High net worth transplants from the Northeast. Bingo. That's what I just said. With liquidity after selling properties back. I didn't even have to read this thing. Okay. In Miami, the international buyer share of residential dollar volume hit 15% in 2025. Okay. 7 times the U.S. average. International buyers spent $4.4 billion on South Florida homes, up 46% year over year, with 51% of those transactions in cash. Again, it's not as easy to get debt when you're a foreigner either. So sometimes you're either buying cash or you're not buying, right? Mm-hmm. So again, that's another driver for this. And again, wealthy area, you get these guys that have the means to do this, or girls that have the means to do this, right? For context, Seattle's cash share sits at 17.3%. The gap between Florida and the West Coast tells you everything you need to know about who is moving capital here and why. It's a thing. We are getting a huge investment into South Florida from just private money. People just relocating. It's like a magnet.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they go on to talk about the insurance and HOA factor nobody talks about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, boy, that suddenly just kind of, that problem just went away, didn't it?
It's not gone. Well, one of the things they say here, too, is like, if you buy with cash, you don't have to insure your property for windstorm. So now all of a sudden you save that too, right? So a big part of why cash dominates Florida has nothing to do with wealth. It has to do with financing restrictions. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac restricted condos list has more than tripled in 2 years. Building on that list are non-warrantable, meaning buyers cannot use a conventional FHA or VA loan. Their only option are expensive non-QM loans, non-qualified mortgage loans, or cash. So again, this is a thing we've talked about. We were just kind of ranting about it, where it's like, hey, these buildings are not up to snuff per the state's regulations, and then frankly for standard loans, or what we call qualified loans or conventional loans. You can't get debt on these things. So if you're buying cash, or you're doing what we do a lot of, which is non-QM stuff, which is basically like private lender. If it's like Fannie Mae would normally do like a 20% down loan on a condo building or condo unit that you're buying into, but if it's if it's not qualified, now that person needs 25 or 30% down in order to buy it because they're going through a non-QM lender, and that's the requirements these non-QM lenders have. And these non-QM lenders are just businesses out there lending money versus the Fannie Mae back stuff. Their businesses lending money, their banks lending money, but they're selling it to Fannie Mae, which they get rid of. Whereas these non-QM products, they're on the balance sheet of this business. They hold them forever, or they sell them independently, but they don't have this big Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, government, quasi-government entity just buying all these things up, creating that liquidity. That's why they're cheaper, and thus why non-QM deals are more expensive. If that makes any sense for anybody who's listening. Yeah. One Redfin agent put it plainly. Cash buyers in these conditions are scoring homes at 10 to 20% below appraised value. In many cases, those discounts exist because the building has financing restrictions, not just a motivated seller. Okay, in condo buildings, maybe. I don't like. I love this conversation I have with buyers who come from out of the area, and they're like, "I got $1 million cash. Let's go steal something." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, like that's not how this works." You know, it's just like, you know how many people I talked to this week that's got $1 million cash relocating here? It's like all of them. You know, it's like you're not unique. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to say, but it's the facts. And so, like, you think you're getting this, like, you think you show up with $1 million cash, and you think you're, you know, Mr. Moneybags.
Right.
And
I mean,
unfortunately,
I can see it. Like that's a magic number. I mean, I can see it, and I understand. But yeah, that just suddenly.
It's just, and by the way, in other parts of the country, sure, like without question. But down here, it's like this cash thing where you think you're going to get a deal is not always the case. Maybe in these condo buildings. Don't get me wrong. We've done a bunch of deals where I'm like, we just crushed that deal. Like on the buy rep side, it's like we did a good deal here. We snuck out a good deal. We bought it for under market value. Great, but it's not that easy, and usually it comes with compromises, right? We talked about this where I had a guy who was like, I just want to buy the cheapest basis thing, so I want to be in at the lowest basis possible in this building. Go talk to everybody in the building, and just get the cheapest deal. It's like, okay, well, if I can do that, and you don't have any preference about like, oh, the wall isn't painted the color I like, right? Or the kitchen cabinets aren't this. It's like, okay, well, if you don't have any preference, we can go find the cheapest thing. But if you just start to get real picky about things, it gets tough. And then sometimes when you start to get too picky, you miss the right opportunity. So this is a balancing act for sure. But this idea of like 10 to 20% below appraised value, in the condo world, things are sliding. True. Single family home world, having $1 million cash is like just like helps you maybe win. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't get better pricing usually. So that's kind of the scoop there. But
man, I feel like you crush a lot of dreams with some of these people who come in.
People get upset with me. They get upset with me. It's not a cocky thing. It's just like,
no, it's the facts.
Like, can we just like get real and like, can we just change your perspective? And a lot of people don't like to hear other people's perspectives. They don't. They come to you and they say, hey, you know, I want your consult.
But they don't.
As long as it aligns with my ideology.
Right.
And as soon as it doesn't, I'm upset. This is so bad, but I had somebody tell me I hurt their feelings.
Oh, Larry.
Because I gave them a valuation that was not in line with what they think it's worth. And it's like, well, okay, well, I don't think your feelings should be hurt.
It's nothing. I know. Whatever happened to it's nothing personal. I guess
this isn't what. Yeah, it's like I don't like. Whatever. We can pretend the number is what you want it to be. I don't know. Like, if you want me to do that, you should tell me that. I'll do that. But if you ask me to look at the comps and show you your price,
right?
Like, yeah. So anyway, so let's move on.
Okay.
Topic 6.
Yes. Well, going from market trends, we zoom into one of the most expensive residential deals to hit South Florida radar this week. It comes with a name you've definitely heard before. Well, not necessarily. I mean, I have certainly. Developer married into billionaire Conair family buys $37 million Hillsboro Beach mansion. You know, if you're familiar with the brand Conair, No relation to the movie starring Nicolas Cage from the mid-'90s. You have Morris Flankbaum, through his land bank trust, picked up the property next door to one he already owns.
Crazy.
Jeez. 36.5 for the adjacent estate. Combined with his 2021 purchase at $21.8 million, he now controls a 3.7-acre assemblage on Hillsboro Mile for a total of $58.3 million. The seller was Deborah Tarrant, widow of healthcare tech mogul Richard Tarrant, who originally paid $3 million for the property back in '98. It's gone up a little bit since that time. Wow.
Florida has changed a little bit.
Just a little.
A little bit. This is kind of crazy. So if you, Ben, if you pull up the location, we can just talk about this a little bit. But Hillsboro Mile, aka some people call it Millionaire's Mile, but it's not a Millionaire's Mile.
I was going to say Millionaires was so 90s.
Yeah, it's Billionaire's Mile. You're not having a total asset count here of $50+ million. And you got to be worth a lot. You got to be worth a lot to do that. You're not worth $100 million. You're probably worth a few $100 million at a minimum, half a B, which is wild. Yeah. You're the real deal. You got crazy money. And so this guy is Billionaire, I'm pretty sure, right? You're right. This guy, Conair crew. Anyway, so you look at this. You got a strip here where you're really close to the inlet. The Hillsboro Inlet. If you zoom out a little south, bingo. Nope. A little further out. Yep. Scroll down. There you go. There's the inlet. So quick little easy boat ride down to the inlet, which most of these guys, they're using that to exit to go to Miami on their yachts, to go to the Bahamas every summer. That's one of the better inlets to have access to. And so, which is why Lighthouse Point, which is across the way, just west of this Billionaire Mile here, is highly sought after. It's a well-regarded community, plus it's got great access to the ocean. So, but these Billionaire Mile properties, they got ocean frontage and intercoastal frontage. So most of these guys have their 100-foot yacht sitting out there, and they got the yacht house on the west side of A1A, right. And they got their actual house on the east side of A1A, and they sit on the ocean. This is
Is that one of those where they got the tunnels too? Do they go under A1A? Or?
I haven't seen a tunnel in this side, but I've seen it in the Manalapan Estates.
Right, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So this is a very unique strip of real estate. There's not too many homes there, and it looks like select guys are buying all of them. So at this point, right? Let's see. The mansion sits on 2.5 acres, built in 2007. Not too old. 8-bedroom, 13-bathroom, and roughly 11,000 square feet. It features 200 feet of ocean frontage. That's huge. 200 feet of ocean frontage. Combined with the neighboring parcel, he now controls 3.7 acres, as we just mentioned, totaling $58.3 million. But by the way, he bought that thing in 21. It's worth way more than that, the other one. So you can just assume it's $60-75 million in real estate he owns right here on the ocean, just waiting to get tanked by a hurricane, right? Just and it's just no big deal, right? Let's see. The seller, Deborah Tarrant, downsized to a home in Boca Raton, Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club, which is, by the way,
that's why I love downgrade. Those homes are great.
$8.4 million.
Yeah,
she paid. By the way, Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club, probably one of the top or most exclusive communities in the area.
I don't think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift would have rented a place for the summer if they didn't think it was nice.
That's it. So that's a good example. So yeah. So what else here? So that's just this little area is a unique spot in South Florida. There's not many like this. But let's move on. Let's talk about construction. Starts on All Seasons Delray, a 153-unit senior living community.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
So senior housing, one of the most undersupplied asset classes in South Florida, which is weird to say. right now, anyway. Michigan-based Beztak just broke ground on a 153-unit luxury facility west of Delray Beach, backed by a $75 million construction loan. So they got that loan going. All Seasons Delray will sit on 7.65 acres at 15650 Lyons Road and deliver 92 independent living units and 61 assisted living units with a target opening in the first quarter of 2028. Now, Beztek acquired the site for $6.3 million in 2022 and filed plans as far back as 2021. ANF is managing construction and is expected to wrap in roughly 2 years. Always optimistic.
We keep seeing more and more of these go up, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, and I always feel bad because when you picture Florida, regardless of where it is, and that's where I picture people retiring. It's only been in the last, decade that I feel like it's shifted so much where it feels like it's anybody but retirees coming down here. So as many other discussions as we had, be it with property taxes and things that, have unfortunately pushed that retirement age out, these are the things that will hopefully keep them here. And the people that, have always dreamed of being in South Florida or Florida in general for retirement. I don't know.
It says here, Palm Beach County has one of the highest concentrations of retirees in the country. And purpose-built senior luxury housing has not kept pace with demand. So we'll probably see more of this. Again, right. These are the wealthy retirees to be here in South Florida because most of the, I'd say, less wealthy retirees are getting out of South Florida.
Yeah.
And the buyers that are buying those properties are younger, millennial, in the workforce, making a good living, can sustain paying these bigger numbers, $1 million for a single family home or something like that, right? So, yeah. And let's see, Beztek has an active Florida portfolio, including a few other places, one in Boca, one in Parkland, one in Plantation. And so they cover the South Florida market. So this is a new one. Looks like they're gonna be cooking here, getting this thing put together. Yeah, I mean the big thing here is these things need to be spread out throughout South Florida because you want most people who stay in these, they want to have proximity to their loved ones, right? So if you live in Delray, okay, maybe this is a good one for you. If you live in Boca, okay, the Boca one's a good one for you, right? And so they kind of mix it up. So moving to different cities, different markets is the strategy for these guys.
That makes sense.
And again, this is new construction. It's net helpful. It's bringing more wealth to the area, and that's I think that's the punchline here.
Good night.
And that's it.
We're gonna say. And on that note, I guess we're gonna wrap things up. Larry has said his piece. On behalf of Larry Mastropieri, broker owner of the Mastropieri Group, I'm John Laws of Discover South Florida. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And just a reminder that next week we will be in on Thursday because Larry is going on vacation to spend a little fun time in Colombia. It must be nice. Have fun.